Are you a homeowner who's just moved into your dream home? Or someone who has downsized from a much bigger home to a smaller home and are surrounded by boxes and memorabilia? Are you someone who's navigating an important disruption in your life and finding it hard to find what you're looking for? If these are some of the challenges that you're facing, in the next few minutes, I'm going to share some solutions that can be game-changing and time-saving for you, especially when the rubber meets the road in life. Hi, my name is Nancy Juetten, and I'm the co-founder of a product called Life Goes On Roadmap. And it's a system to help people get empowered about the nitty-gritty details of their lives, just in case something crazy or random should happen. And if you are living anywhere in the world today, you're probably present to the fact that something really has happened that is random and crazy, that has provided an incredible disruption for all of our lives, which makes what I'm about to talk to you about especially relevant. So I'd like to share my screen with you so we can have some visuals to anchor what we're talking about. So just bear with me as I bring them up. And here we go. If you're over 50, let's say, there was a movie that debuted about 30 years ago called When Harry Met Sally. Did you see it? There's a scene in the restaurant where Harry and Sally are having an important conversation about whether or not men and women fake it in the bedroom. You probably remember it. Well, there's another scene in the movie that I really like, and it's when the two of them are in the car on a road trip from Chicago to New York to start their new lives together as professionals, and they end up starting a conversation about, of all things, death. And he is obsessed with death, and she wakes up on the sunny side of the bed every day thinking that the world is her oyster. And he replies to her, yeah, well, when the goes down, I'm going to be prepared and you're not. There are people that anticipate things that are going to happen and people that have their eyes closed or their head in the sand. There's no judgment about either, but opposites do attract, as you can see from this movie. I will tell you from my own personal experience that bad things do happen to nice people. And I've been one of them. About 2 years ago, 3 women in my life had their financial lives completely undone by sudden divorce, death, and disability. Add to that our home was burglarized and everything that we owned of value was stripped from our home while we were away on a business trip. My mom was diagnosed with dementia, which created a whole new part-time job for my sister and I to manage from states away. And to add insult to injury, not long ago, my husband was rushed to the hospital with a mini stroke. And all the while I was driving him to the emergency room, I was wondering what was going to happen to our lives if I was lucky enough to bring him home. Fortunately, he's fine, and it is the greatest blessing I can possibly tell you about. But I will tell you this. No matter what it is that we're trying to accomplish in life, our big goals, our dreams, whatever is on our vision board, nothing prepares you for when life hits the fan and all of a sudden, all bets are off. What's on your dream board? It could be a home, a better home, a nicer car, the opportunity to travel freely around the world without restriction. It could be having a baby, sending your kids to college. It could be any of these things. You know what's on my dream board? No more drama. And I'll tell you why. Because there are sobering statistics that really have given me occasion to wake up beyond the experiences I've had myself. So many of us have big, big plans for success, but for some reason, we're not able to achieve them. It could be that in our business, we have absence of capital or lack of know-how, or we've created the wrong solution for a marketplace that just won't buy. It could be that trends change and your solution isn't hot anymore. The biggest thing that I think stops success for a lot of people is when life gets in the way, because life often does. You only have to turn to your Facebook feed to see someone reporting that someone had a car accident, or somebody had their identity stolen, or someone drove their car into the AM/PM mini mart only to have their laptop stolen from their back seat while they were going in to get a glass of water. The is hitting the fan every single day, and this has everything to do with life more so than the alternative, because life does get in the way and it can derail us. And I'll tell you something, it has derailed me too. I ask myself often, why are we so quick to invest to build the dream and so reluctant to protect it? Now, a little bit about me so you can appreciate the journey I've traveled. If you Google my name, Nancy Juetten, or look for Bye Bye Boring Bio on the internet, or look for, those are two things you can look for on the internet. You'll see that I'm pretty easily found. I'm very well known on the internet, and I've achieved a fair amount of success as the Get Known to Get Paid mentor. I've written 3 books. I've taught thousands of people how to make their bios more brilliant for client attraction. And I have spoken on live and virtual stages with some pretty big names that make me really proud and have helped my star to rise. And that's all fine and good until it's not so fine and good anymore. Life hit the fan, as I said, in a big way. The 3 women I knew, wake up call, I could be next. The home was burglarized. My mom got diagnosed with dementia. My husband had a mini stroke. How much more can a gal take? It's been tough, and it did derail my business for a time. And so again, what's on my dream board? No more drama. To the extent that it's possible for me to influence what my outcomes are going to be, I would like to be prepared for whatever's coming next. And that's really what I want to talk about. I'd like to guide you through 5 personal finance blind spots that you can open your eyes to today so that you can get ahead of life before life kicks you in the behind. Because these are disrupting times, and if there was ever a good time to get ahead of life before it happens, while we're sheltering in place, sure seems like a good opportunity to me. So point number 1, if you share your life with someone, make sure that someone's name and your name are on the utility statements for all of your utility bills, because then both of you are empowered to call, to ask for help, get service, and make things happen. The last thing you want to do is have a problem with any of your utilities and not be able to get the help you need because someone says to you, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Smith, I'm not able to help you. Please let me speak to the account holder." Nobody needs to feel that level of disempowerment. So on the next billing cycle, please call your utility and ask that both names be added to the bill so that you always have that power. All the adults, let them put them on the bill. You'll be really glad that you did, especially when the power goes out and you need some light or water. The second tip, please update your beneficiary designations. In today's modern family, it's not uncommon for people to have more than one spouse in a lifetime. What if you're married to someone who has millions to bestow should that person pass away, only to find out that wife number 2 gets everything because somebody forgot to update the beneficiary designations? Don't let this happen to you. If you've just moved to a new home or you've upsized or downsized, one thing you have to do is alert your insurance company that you have a change of address. When you do that, make sure to ask, tell me, can you tell me who I designated as my primary and secondary or tertiary beneficiary? I want to make sure my beneficiaries are up to date. And if they're not up to date, ask for the form, fill it out, and send it back so that you can have that to-do checked off your list and know that if something crazy should happen, the right people will inherit whatever you have to leave behind. Number 3, being a victim of not just 1, but 2 home burglaries, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to inventory your valuables, your jewelry, your artwork, your special treasures. Take pictures of these items, find the receipts and appraisals for these items, and have a spreadsheet saved so that if you are the victim of a burglary, it is a simple administrative exercise for you to reach out to your insurance company and to be made whole for your losses. This does not compensate for the sentimental sadness that you feel that these things are no longer in your possession, but the compensation, being made whole for the value, does help. And it makes a challenging situation a little bit easier to manage without having to recreate what you thought you had because you forgot to make note of it. One of my friends was in her 40s when she finally got engaged to be married, and she was rewarded with a 3-carat diamond in her engagement ring. It was weeks shortly after she received it that she went to a grocery store to buy some fresh flowers, and somehow during that trip to the grocery store, the diamond was dislodged from the setting and it was gone. It was such a shame that she never added the engagement ring to her homeowner's insurance as a special rider so that the ring would be covered. So not only did she lose the ring, but it's pretty hard to replace it, especially with something of that size. And, you know, if you haven't gotten your insurance stuff squared away, please do. You will be so glad that you did. Now, if something random or crazy should happen and you cannot get into your partner's phone, that's going to make alerting everyone that needs to know a whole lot more difficult. So make the decision today to share your login information with the person or the people with whom you share your life for your phone. Because if you need to alert the media and circle the wagons and bring people together, you don't want to be locked out of the one thing that we are carrying around all the time that gives us access to the people we need to reach when the moments really count. And number 5, I'd like you to create and compile a document storage box. And here you can put your important documents and proof of what you have. You can assemble your insurance documents, et cetera, et cetera. There are actually 16 stops that we recommend people take. But if you can't find what you're looking for when you need it, like your passport, for example, that's putting you in the unfortunate situation of not being able to leave town when you want to. You know, right now with what we're dealing with sheltering in place, I think everybody's itching to use their passport and one day travel to those wonderful destinations they want to visit wherever they are. But if your passport can't be easily found, that's a problem. So complete and compile a document storage box that has important vendors, important contacts, your insurance documents, your will, these kinds of things. And you know, I keep my Santa pictures in our important document. One of the things that I was always so excited about, I have a 23-year-old son, and he sat with a photo with Santa every year of his life up until now. Those are some of my most treasured photographs, and I keep them in my document storage box because if there's a fire or a flood and I need to go quickly, I want to be able to take those with me and not have them be underwater. These are just a few little practical suggestions that you can take action on today so that you can feel a little bit more empowered about your future. Over the last several years, I've heard from so many women who have shared their tales of woe with me, and it reinforces why I do this work in the first place. Debbie Mahoney was telling me about her husband who had a stroke 3 years ago. He always insisted on paying the bills and kept her out of it, and that was cold comfort for her when she had to drive everything forward because he couldn't. She said it was a huge hassle trying to get cooperation, especially if she wanted to close an account to save money. It was incredibly stressful, and things would have been so much easier if they had planned ahead. If you're in one of those relationships where one person's driving and the other person is a passenger, make today the day you change that role and have equal footing between you so that you can look after the other just in case you need to drive for a while they get better. Dale said that almost 8 years ago, her husband passed away suddenly at 45 years old. What a blow. She says, you do not want to have to try to figure out everything while you're trying to grieve. It took me over 2 years to get things straightened out, and nobody wants or deserves that. So if you really care about your partner, prepare for anything and do some of these things that I'm suggesting to you now. So there are two paths to follow. Which is better? One is that you can have more questions than answers and a lot of frustration. And the other is to open a dialogue with the people you love the most and make sure you're on the same page and you know you can find what you need when you're looking for it. There is no decision as far as I'm concerned. I prefer the option to my right. How about you? Timing is everything, and believe me, now is the time. Please empower yourself just in case something comes up tomorrow to change everything in an instant. When you do that, you can say goodbye to passenger status and equal footing will be yours. What starts out as a transactional conversation can turn into a transformational journey with wonderful and lasting benefits. You can even earn a merit badge to become an I'm ready for anything road tripper who's ready for anything. And you'll notice during the whole course of this presentation, I've been focusing on real life. And when life hits the fan, I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about managing life, managing your finances, managing your household, having access to what you need when you need it so you can be in the driver's seat for the epic adventures still to come. That is, I think, one of the most differentiating qualities about the program that we've created compared to others you might find online that are so gloom and doom and miserable. This is not about gloom, doom, and misery. This is about empowerment, making the most of your epic life and planning epic adventures still to come, and taking a moment or two or three and deciding if it's time to make some course corrections or to swerve to prepare yourself for a much better, more empowered life, whatever shape that takes. My husband and I were so moved by the challenges that we were faced and the challenges that our friends were facing, those three women I mentioned about, that we were called to create a system called the Life Goes On Roadmap System for Personal Financial Information Organization. It comes in a digital version, and it also comes as a 3-ring binder that can ship to your house. And it includes a game board to help navigate your game of life so that you can transform from scavenger hunt to a place of complete empowerment where you can have something to celebrate. And it includes a guidebook to show you the way. And it most importantly includes a digital organizer. This digital organizer is a simple spreadsheet that has 16 pages. Excuse me, 16 simple pages. And what you do is you designate 20 minutes a day for 16 days to complete each of those 16 sections. First, it feels like an administrative exercise, but as you dig in to what your life has meant up until this point, what you've achieved until now, you start thinking bigger thoughts about what you want the rest of your life to be like. And that's when the conversations start that can be game-changing in your family. And there is an opportunity to share what your final wishes might be, just in case people weren't aware of them. I know my husband and I have been married for over 30 years, and I didn't know his final wishes. And when I asked him about it, he said, "Oh, put me out on an ice floe and push me out to sea. I'll fall asleep and that'll be good." We had a good laugh about it. And then I leaned in and said, "Is that really what you want?" And he said, "Listen, if I can't have any good quality of life, let's not go for the extraordinary measures. Make me comfortable, wish me well, and stay by my side until the time is complete." I'm so glad I know that, because if we're in a situation where we have to do extraordinary measures, I know for a fact that that's not what he wants, and I can advocate and champion for his best wishes. Can you do that with your special people in your life? It is a beautiful thing to be able to do that. It makes for far less hurt feelings in those challenging moments where those important decisions have to be made. So what's my wish and my message for you? I'd like you to lean in and invest to build your big dreams, and I'd also like you to take action to protect them. My big dream is that millions of families will proudly use Life Goes On Roadmap as a gift of empowerment to all, that it will be a system that will start conversations in families around the world, and that people will never leave a big fat mess for their families to clean up later because they had the good foresight to play the game and win. And that is what I would like for you. If you'd like to get started, we offer a free gift called the Get Your Act Together Getting Started template, so you never leave a big fat mess for your family to clean up later. And you can simply visit lifegoesonroadmap.com to gain access right this very minute. So visit www.lifegoesonroadmap.com and the special report will wing its way to your inbox right away. And then if you feel called to invest in our modestly priced system, go to lifegoesonroadmapnow.com and make your purchase. It's a little bit less expensive when you do the digital only version and just a touch more when you have the 3-ring binder delivered to your doorstep. Either way, that digital organizer and all the goodies will arrive in your inbox instantaneously, and you can start your scavenger hunt for power, access, and control starting today. Just 20 minutes a day to fill out your personal contacts, to complete your list of important service providers, to identify your places where you bank, to assemble your Social Security earnings statement, to identify your beneficiaries. Anything is possible if you just take a bite of it like an apple every single day. So 16 road stops, do it 20 minutes a day. In just a little over 2 weeks, your whole life will be neat and tidy and saved onto a digital spreadsheet that you own, that you can share only with those people in your life who have a need to know. This will give you so much confidence, so much peace of mind, and you will be so much better for having done it. I hope that you are inspired to get on with this so that you can have those benefits. My name is Nancy Juetten. I am the co-founder of Life Goes On Roadmap, and in the last 2 years, we are fortunate to have guided hundreds of families on this journey to excellent reviews, and we have licensed our system to attorneys, financial advisors, CPAs, a senior care home, an estate planning attorney, and more are coming. It's so exciting to be able to touch and transform so many more lives with something so practical, personal, and profound as the power, access, and control to drive life forward no matter what tomorrow brings. This is the wave, this is the flag we wave and the revolution we're fighting for, and we hope that you're inspired to come along. Thank you for tuning in. It's been my pleasure to be with you today, and I look forward to being on the road of life with you as an I'm ready for anything road tripper who's ready for anything. It's a very powerful place to stand. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.